वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। सरस्वती नमो नित्यं भद्रकाल्यै नमो नमः। वेद वेदांत वेदांग विद्यास्थानेभ्य एव च सरस्वती महाभागे विद्ये कमललोचने विद्यारूपे विशालाक्षी विद्यां देहि नमोस्तुते। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो ईश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, all of you. Very good evening. Not a very ideal time to do Adhyatma Vishay ke upar discussion. We have to start the day with such teachings, but it is okay. We have all joined here. It is wonderful. And we are going to be looking at Dasbodh. The last time we did Manache Shlok, we enjoyed so much. So we need to get back to our beloved Swami Ramdas. So, little bit about Swami Ramdas. 350, 400 years ago, not very long ago, such manifestations happen. This is the beauty, should we call it, of this Punya Bhumi, Bharata. This beautiful culture, you know, from time to time, there are these saints who keep this heritage alive. A very distinct identity that Bharat, India has today because of its spiritual knowledge. And why should we take up Dasbodh? We have studied the Upanishads, and some of us have studied Bhagavad Gita in depth, and you know, so why Dasbodh? Just so that we don't look like educated fools. ये उपनिषद complete हो गया है, ये भाष्यम के साथ we have completed this. Horns grow होते हैं, collar भी थोड़ा, I have done the course, वगैरह वगैरह. If we do not put into practice what we have studied, so yeah, this transformation that is required, you have the knowledge, and it shouldn't spiritual journey or practice involves that this knowledge turns, it transforms you. You become what you have learned. Until then, it's not complete. So when you see Manache Shlok, when you look at Dasbodh, there is so much emphasis and without any doubt. Like Swami Samartha here, very often he uses the word Shuddha Upadeshatsa Nishchayo. I mean, Nishchayata, I'm giving you clear cut. You can't have any excuses ki bhai, I had a doubt, I was not sure. So this is the way you need to practice. Very clear. So that is given to us in Dasbodh. And it is a good book for Mananam. See, first thing is Shravanam. So you hear about, you hear from the Shrutis, the Upanishads, you hear the Bhagavad Gita. Then one needs to do Mananam. Mananam is where, upon contemplating on what is being heard, what reflecting upon it, we clear our doubts. So Dasbodh helps us with that. No room for any doubt. There should be clarity at the end of it. This is why these books are very important for a seeker to study, to understand. And Swami Samarth Ramdas, we know, I mean, we have read about him probably at a very young age, 350, 400 years ago, 250 years ago. 1608 he was born. He was barely 12 years. They decided to get him married. His elder brother was initiated into Atmagyan, but he wanted also this kind of an initiation, born in a very spiritually oriented family. But they refused. They said the older brother is already initiated. So he need not get that kind of initiation. It is not required. When he was barely 12, he was to get married. That famous popular story we have heard. Right at the time of the wedding, where he is supposed to garland, or tie the knot. That ritual, they say, Shubha Mangala, Savadhan. The moment that word Savadhan was uttered, it drew his attention. This is some Purva Janma Samskara that we speak of, He said, this is a calling for me. I must be very, very careful. He ran away from the mandapa. Literally ran away, and he wanted to follow the spiritual path. He didn't want to be bound with marriage and responsibilities. And for the next 12 years, until he was 24, he had done a lot of penance. It is said that in the river, flowing water, come what, day and night, whether it is summer or winter, he used to chant the Sri Rama mantra. Sri Ram, Jai Ram, continuous, until he got darshan of his beloved deity, Sri Ram. That was his kind of penance. So when Dasbodh is composed by him in what we call, OVs, the meter. Short verses, very simple, easy to understand. And as I had written, it consists of 20 dashakas, or you can call it 20 adhyaya chapters. Under each one of them, he has taken 10 topics each. So this book is really huge, 7,800 OVs. So we cannot take up the entire thing. I mean, it will take us, I think, a couple of years to complete. So I thought, let us deal with one dashaka at a time. So today we will look at the first, the beginning, the first chapter, which has a few 38 around verses, which is an introduction to Dasbodh. And once we have understood this, we will proceed to chapter 2. The first Dashaka speaks in stuti. Stuti is to speak in glorification, praise, in praise of the Lord. He starts with the praise of Ganesha, then Saraswati, then gurus, then the knowledge itself, the assembly, the listeners. So it's all of that. So it's Tuvanasa. It is about stuti. And there is a need for that. We will look at that also. And the second chapter, which we will be dealing with, I just took it up because I said, okay, this is something we can all easily relate with. And like I said, practical. It is something that we can become aware of and ensure that we apply to our lives, to our practices, to our thinking. The second Dashaka speaks of 10 topics. The first one is the signs of fools. And I said, what is the signs of fools? I was very interested. I said, I hope I don't fall even in one of those. Luckily, I don't fall in one, but the other 72 still feels like it applies to me. One of it is because he says the one who thinks or his wife is the only friend he has in life. And so that doesn't apply to me. So I'm very proud of it. Other than that, I think everything applies to some extent. So it is a very important chapter. Let us not think signs of fools always applies to the other. Usually that's the way. I know this person. It applies to him. Huh? Vedanta, as I always say, is for us, for each individual to go within and see whether it applies to you or doesn't apply. If it doesn't apply, forget it. Keep in mind that it never ever occurs. And if it does apply, change where. Then the signs of good qualities he has mentioned. So that is a positive where okay, if I'm not to be, then how am I to be? That is told. Signs of wrong knowledge. Okay? Then discourse on devotion. Then about the 3 qualities, 3 dispositions, 3 gunas, rajas, tamas, and sattva quality. We can easily relate to this because we have a little bit of a background, isn't it? Then he speaks, since he spoke of wrong knowledge, he has also told us what is right or the good knowledge. Means we know what we should seek. Then the qualities of ascetics, because we must understand what should be the lakshana so that we know where we have to work on all this, but to get where, isn't it? That is spoken of. And lastly, signs of educated fools. We must be careful. Yes, we have studied these Upanishads. Oh, are we committing any of these mistakes that he's mentioned on? So I thought this would be really useful for us. So that comes later. We will first begin with what Swami Samarth Ramdas talks about. It is chapter 1 of the first Dashaka itself, and it speaks like any of our Prakarana Grantha, or it's a Mangalacharan we begin with. And also, there is for this Anubandha Chatushtai mentioned. What is Anubandha Chatushtai? What is the purpose of this book? For whom is it written? Having read the book, what would be the result? Isn't it? So this is established. So we have to be very clear that this is why we are reading this book. Because finally, if you have put into practice whatever is said, he says the result is God realization. So without doubt, when we read, we apply, we say, I'm not getting that far. Okay, reread again. And then, where are you making a mistake? Keep correcting yourself until you begin to see it with clarity. That is why it's a very important text. Very beautiful composition. Very, very simple. For Marathi speaking people, it is very simple. It is not even, an archaic language, I think. So you can just go reading it and try and there are many speakers on YouTube also, I see they have given in Marathi, they talk about this. So you can go back, listen to them if you understand Marathi. Very beautifully expressed. Like the PDF of the book that we shared is by Keshav Vishnu Bedasare. He is Professor Bedasare. He was teaching in Siddharth College, Mumbai, very good professor. And he is a direct disciple of Gondavulekar Maharaj also. So that book is being written by him. I am following this book by Sri Divakar Ghesas. I didn't find the PDF of this book somehow. So that's why I couldn't share that with you. But maybe share the screenshot of the pages as we read, when we begin to read it. This is just translation of the Marathi verses. So shall we begin here now with the Samas Pahila? If you can go through the Marathi, we just read the first to the fifth verses or OVs. श्रोते पुसती कोण ग्रंथ काय बोलिले जी येत श्रवण केलियाने प्राप्त काय आहे ग्रंथा नाम दासबोध गुरु शिष्यांचा संवाद येत बोलिला विशद भक्ती मार्ग नवविधा भक्ती आणि ज्ञान बोलिले वैराग्याचे लक्षण बहुधा अध्यात्म निरोपण निरोपिले भक्तीचेने योग देव निश्चये पावती मानो ऐसा आहे अभिप्राव इथे ग्रंथी मुख्य भक्तीचा निश्चय शुद्ध ज्ञानाचा निश्चय आत्मस्थितीचा निश्चय बोलिले असे. See, I am not Marathi speaking, so I may make this थोड़ा गड़बड़ हो सकता है. च स क्ष ना ये यूजुअली वो हो रहा है. तो but this is, we will just see what has he said here. श्रोते पुसती कोण ग्रंथ काय बोलिले जी येत. When Samarth Ramdas, I mean, it is like disciples, listeners, we also, for that matter, want to know about this book. What is this book about? What is described in it? What is the benefit of listening to its content? Shravana keliyane prapt kaya hai. Samartha said, the name of this book is Dasbodh. It contains the dialogue between the Guru and his disciple. The path of devotion is clearly explained in it. Grantha nama Dasbodh, Guru Shishyansa Samvad. Dialogue. Dialogue between Guru and Shishya, Sadguru. Sadguru is one who has realized the truth. He speaks upon this realization. Shishya is his disciple. This is like an Upanishad. because the Upanishad means that where the disciple has approached his guru at the feet of the guru, he is seeking this knowledge. Actually, it is said that as Sri Swami Samartha was giving his pravachanas, his disciple Kalyana Swami was taking down notes. So he has compiled all of this and they put the book together. So as and when questions came up, the guru would answer. And so Swami Samartha says this is a dialogue between the guru and his disciple. The path of devotion is clearly explained in it. In it are explained the 9 ways of devotion. Navavidha Bhakti, Ani Jnana, the path of knowledge, the qualities inherent in the state of desirelessness. Bolile Vairagyache Lakshan. And also explained are the various facts of spiritual life. Bahuda Adhyatma Niropana. ठीक है ना? Now see, for the listener, this is giving you bhakti and jnana. Towards what? Towards living a spiritual life. Your goal is spiritual fulfillment, so that is also established. So what is it going to give you at the end? The book makes definite statements. The 4th point, he says, the treatise intends to put forth the truth that by devotion, God is certainly realized by man. Nishchaye Pavati Manava. Established. This is the goal. The book makes definite statements about the real nature of the following issues. That is essence of devotion, pure nature of knowledge, the real state of being, the self. Clear? We know what this book is going to teach us. No confusion there. We have to be 100% sure. ये अनुबंध चतुष्ट है ना? Who is the adhikari? Who's the one who has to read the book? Like in school, we have guides, no? For our exams and all that. Guide for standard 5th or a textbook we have. This is biology for students in 8th grade or standard 8. Now, obviously a student who is in the 10th standard need not study that. A student who is in the 5th need not study that, is not expected to read that. So one has to be very clear. So this is for those seekers who are seeking spiritual fulfillment. So what are the ways told? Bhakti and Jnana. And also the real nature, because where we get confused maybe about devotion, the nature of knowledge, Atman, state of being. So this is clearly explained here. Various facts of spiritual life is taken up. Upon reading this, God realization is determined. Very clear. No, so I read this book. I thought I will get peace of mind and my relationship will become better. Those are byproducts, but that is not what this book is meant for. We have to be clear. At some time, no, we have to draw a line. I am into the spiritual field. Let us determine for what? To become a better person so that I can get along well with my community, in my family, so that I better my relationships. Then there are very many other programs you should attend. I want peace of mind. Oh, go do whatever you enjoy doing. Listen to ghazals if you like. Go for a swim. Go live by nature. They'll make you very peaceful, these things, isn't it? self-realization, God realization must be the goal for leading a spiritual life. We must be very clear. Nishchay. So this is the Anubandha Chatushkai, first to fifth verse. Now we will also see, because he says there are many things told in the book. So what else? From the 6th to the 11th verses, if we read, Shuddha Upadeshacha Nishchayo, Sayojya Mukticha Nishchayo, Moksha Prapticha Nishchayo, Bolila Ase, Shuddha Swarupacha Nishchayo, Videha Stiticha Nishchayo, अलिप्तपणाचा निश्चय बोलीला असे, मुख्य देवाचा निश्चय, मुख्य भक्ताचा निश्चय, जीव शिवाचा निश्चय बोलीला असे, मुख्य ब्रह्माचा निश्चय, नाना मतांचा निश्चय, आपण कोण हा निश्चय बोलीला असे, मुख्य उपासन लक्षण, नाना कवित्व लक्षण, नाना चातुर्य लक्षण बोलिले असे, मायोद्भवाचे लक्षण, पंचभूतांचे लक्षण, कर्ता कोण हे लक्षण बोलिले से. This book also tells definitely what is the purest teaching, what is complete freedom, and what is the meaning of attainment of liberation. That is important, isn't it? कारण मोक्ष प्राप्तीचा निश्चयो. Some of us say we want moksha, we do not know what is moksha. Moksha from what we do not know. That is made clear. Oh, this world is a horrible place to stay in. My family even worse. Guru, I want to escape from all of that. That is why I have come to the ashram. So you want mukti from family, therefore you are here. No. Real meaning of attainment of liberation. It states in clear terms what is the nature of reality within. What is the state of being beyond body consciousness? Videha sthiti sanishya. What it means to be alone in this world. Aliptapanatsa lakshan. What is being alone in this world? See, that is very clear. Once you know, Atman is only one. There is no other. There is no scope of other. When you come to realize this, if that is the only one, then you are alone in this world. There is no other. How do you conduct yourself when you're all alone? And then how do you explain this duality, right? Lot of questions come to mind when we think deeply. This book tells who is the supreme almighty God, who is the real devotee, what are the jiva, the soul, and Shiva, the universal spirit. So see, speaking about the soul, he does not take a Nastika view. It's important. Nastika, in popular terms, is one who does not believe in God, one supreme Godhead. Astika is one who believes, who has faith in that one God. When you study the schools of philosophy, the schools under Nastika are also Buddhism, Jainism, because they do not take the words of Vedas and Vedanta to be supreme. Therefore, they are also known as Nastikas. Astika is one who believes in the scriptures, Vedas, Vedanta, Upanishads, the Gita. Okay? And we know Swami Samarth Ramdas, this entire book is the essence, encapsulated form of all the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutras, and the Gita put together. This is Monistic theism, there is a place for God, personal Godhead. We are not, there is no escape route or there is no shortcut. So, therefore, faith in that God principle, and that could be whomever. It could be a very personal God that you have, be it a Krishna or Durga or a Ganesha, with whatever form and attributes they have. So this book tells us who is the supreme almighty God and talks about Jiva and Shiva, that is the individual soul and the universal spirit. In this book, it is definitely stated what is the nature of the absolute Brahman, with an explanation of all the doctrines about it. And the question, what am I, is also answered. जीव शिवाचा निश्चयो बोलिला असे मुख्य ब्रह्माचा निश्चयो नाना matansa, the schools of thought is also spoken of here. आपण कोण हा निश्चयो बोलिला असे. Who am I? That thou art, Tattvamasi, is spoken of here. It also gives us the main types of worship, various forms of poetry, various kinds of shrewd discernment. Viveka, Lakshana is there. This book explains how illusion itself comes into being, the details of 5 elements, and who is the doer of all these. So you see, now you get to know what this whole book is made up of. We spoke of only the 2nd chapter and the main topics under that. The rest of the topics deals with all of this, very important. So whenever time permits and when we can meet, we will take up each of these Dashaka. So much is contained in this book. Other than that, we will see from the 12th to the 20th verses. नाना कित निवारिले, नाना संशयो छेदिले, नाना आशंका फेडिले, नाना प्रश्न ऐसे बहुधा निरोपिले, ग्रंथ गर्भी जे बोलिले, ते अवघेची अनुवादले, न वचे किम कदा, तथापि अवघा दासबोध, दशक फोडून केला विशद, जे जे दशकीचे अनुवाद, ते दशकी बोलिला, नाना ग्रंथांच्या समती, उपनिषदे वेदांत श्रुती, आणि मुख्य आत्मप्रचिती शास्त्रे सहित, नाना समती अन्वये, म्हणोनी मिथ्या म्हणताम नये, तथापि हे अनुभवासी ये प्रत्यक्ष आता, मत्सरे यासी मिथ्या म्हणती, तरी अवघेची ग्रंथ उछेदती, नाना ग्रंथांच्या समती भगवत वाक्ये, शिवगीता, रामगीता, गुरुगीता, गर्भगीता, उत्तरगीता, अवधूत गीता, वेद आणि वेदांत, भगवद्गीता, ब्रह्मगीता, हंसगीता, पांडवगीता, गणेशगीता, येमगीता, उपनिषदे भागवत इत्यादिक नाना ग्रंथ समतीस बोलिले येथ, भगवत वाक्ये यथार्थ निश्चयेसी. Beautiful. What is he saying? Many doubts are removed. Many misunderstandings are also removed. And many problems are solved by removing objection. That means in this book, it deals with a lot of questions that we may come up. That's why I said this book is very good for mananam. When you start reading, there may be some small things, but how is this possible? But how is that possible? But when you read this book, it gives you clarity. So it may be said that this book gives many facets of knowledge. It is, however, not possible to enlist all these subjects in this introduction. It may be said that the whole volume of Dasbodh is divided into 20 dashakas, which are groups of 10 chapters each. Each such dashaka contains lucidly explained separate subjects. Yes, that was already explained, right? So we know about this. If we can go to the next page, then from the 15th, it is needless to state here that this book is supported by many authentic ancient works like Vedas and Upanishads, and personal experience is the main parameter relied upon, which is supported by the doctrine of the scriptures. This is the beauty of Swami Ramdas. He says it is supported by authentic scriptures. So it is not that it doesn't have reference points. Secondly, he says it's personal experience. It is his experience. He has come to see it that way. So he is not talking something from an imaginary state or something which is, what would you say, something like secular knowledge. You study some subject and you can give a lecture on it. There is a difference between such a lecture and a talk that is given by the one who has realized this truth. He is speaking from that wisdom. He is directly speaking. It is, it is his own pratyaksha anubhuti. He says, so this is the main parameter, which is supported by the doctrines of the scriptures. Don't think it is imagined. As there is allusion to many masterly works in this book, it is not advisable to treat it as imaginary. He says, allusion to many, meaning he may have just quoted, an indirect reference to any of the scriptures. Because it is made that way, do not think it to be imaginary, he says. But by our own experience, we are going to verify the truth. You follow what is being said, you should come to experience this also. Like we say in Vedanta, to the Advaita Guru and Vedanta Vakya, one must have Sampurna Shraddha. You keep faith pending inquiry. We are not asking you to blindly believe what to say. This pending inquiry is there, which means you follow the practices, agree, this is what is said by the Guru, so I go by it. Then you will come to see it. That is guaranteed. Just today I read, those who leave everything in God's hands will eventually see God's hands in everything. So if you have this kind of surrender, you will begin to see how everything is running by another invisible will. A divine will is in place. There is an order in all the chaos that is around you. We may not understand anything that's going on. But if we just take a seat back and watch, without being involved, just watching, being a witness, we see that things are anyway happening the way they are. This is the beauty. This is what Bhagavad Krishna also tells to Arjuna. Don't think you are the doer. Everything is already being done. He shows him what is happening in future. When in the Vishwarupa Darshana, Arjuna is overwhelmed. Sees Krishna in that Rupa, everything going into him, sucking everything. Everything is already determined by me. So what are you? He is the puppeteer. We are mere puppets in his hands. This we must come to, not just believe very poetically or to speak of philosophically. We must come to recognize this truth. Then it is so beautiful. So, says, but by our own experience, we are going to verify the truth. And then he also says, the 17th OV, those who by mere jealousy discard this as a false argument are by that act disregarding and flouting all the authentic works of old, containing the teaching of God himself. Let us not do something like this. See, one thing is authentic work. Acha, tell me, by showing us this path of self-realization, of God realization, is any guru going to benefit? In fact, he is empowering us with that knowledge. Come to see that which I am seeing. He is ready to share that, and he has nothing to gain by giving us that knowledge. Isn't it? So why will they lie? Why will they, cause this kind of a imaginary thing? Let us not disregard the teaching of God himself now, because Bhagavan here, Sri Samarth Ramdas is giving us examples also. For instance, there are various ancient books by one name, that is the Gita, divine Gita. Now, Gita also, when we say Gita, we are commonly talking of the Bhagavad Gita, but we must know there are many Gitas. They are the Shiva Gita, Rama Gita, Guru Gita, Garbha Gita, Uttara Gita, Avadutta Gita, and also the Vedas and Vedanta. There is the Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Gita, Hamsa Gita, Pandava Gita, Ganesha Gita, Yama Gita, Upanishads, and the mythological book Bhagavad. To this, there are many more Gitas you can add. Bhikshu Gita, Gopika Gita is also there. Lakshmana Gita, Vibhishana Gita is there. So these are all in the height of meditative trance. These have been revealed to the meditator. So these are basically considered revelations. It is not even from somebody's memory or inference from a lot of books and knowledge that somebody has inferred this. No. These are divine revelations. And these contain the ultimate truth that cannot be negated. That is the beauty. It has still not been negated and will not be negated. That is the beauty of this knowledge. You may not agree with it right now, but that's all we can do, disagree. We cannot negate it. So it stands, that means it speaks of the truth. And that truth, that is eternal. It is not a book that requires a particular upgradation every time. It is not that knowledge which needs to be updated. Every of secular knowledge needs that, and today more so, we speak that even experts have to keep themselves updated with the latest development, but there is no such development that is possible in Atmagyan. It is complete, it is whole, and it remains the same that was spoken 500 years ago or 5,000 years ago. So support of such books is taken here, in which there are actual teachings of God. Now, what more do we need? We need anything more. Do we have to have a doubt? Should I read the Dasbodh? Is it worthwhile? Is it authentic? Huh? This book alone is enough, let me tell you. Nothing else is needed, because this is coming with practical steps. Just start practicing. Say, I don't know who God is. I don't know what Atman. It doesn't matter. Am I practicing what is said here? You will come to realize. It is that direct and simple. Huh? So, Shraddha, faith in this book. And here, from 27 to the 21st to the 27th verses, we shall read. भगवत वचनी अविश्वासे ऐसा कोण पतित असे. भगवत वाक्याविरहित नसे, बोलणे येथीचे. पूर्ण ग्रंथ पहिल्या विण उगाच ठेवी जो दूषण, तो दुरात्मा दुराभिमान मत्सरे करी. अभिमाने उठे मत्सर, मत्सरे ये तिरस्कार. पुढे क्रोधाचा विकार, प्रबळे बळे. ऐसा अंतरी नासला, काम क्रोधे खवळल. अहम भावे पालटला, प्रत्यक्ष दिसे. काम क्रोधे लिताडिला, तो कैसा मानवा भला. अमृत सेविता पावला, मृत्यू राहो. आता असो हे बोलणे, अधिकारा सारिखे घेणे. परंतु अभिमान त्यागणे, हे उत्तमोत्तम. मागा श्रोती आक्षेपिले, जी ये ग्रंथी काय बोलिले. ते सकळही निरोपिले, सकळीत मारी. Who is such a fallen man who does not have trust in the saying of God? There is not a single statement here outside God's own teaching. Swami Samartha's words these are. This is to bring about the conviction in the hearts of the student. One who finds fault with the book without going through it completely is a bigot who is jealous through his false pride. Some people are stuck with their ideas, prejudices, their own, then they don't see the goodness in something that is being spoken. Sometimes, even these saints had to go through a lot of trouble. When they tried to make this knowledge available to all, make it simple in their own language, they were condemned by the knowledgeable scholars of that time. This happened to everyone. Santa Tulsidas we have heard, isn't it? When he had to write the Ramcharitamanas, he initially started it in Sanskritam, but somehow he couldn't make progress as he started. There was some obstacle or the other, until Lord Shiva himself told him that please write it in a language that everybody can read and understand. And that is when he started writing it in Avadhi Bhasha, made it available for all. Now there are these educated fools who wouldn't want that because they have the pride of knowledge and they think they have a right to Atmagyan. See, it is these saints who appear, manifest from time to time to show the world the right way. Anybody and everybody has an adhikar to this knowledge. It is not a privilege of a special few. Because of pride, he says, one becomes jealous. Jealousy breeds scorn, and then anger dominates. So if we have any one of this, pride, jealousy, he says anger dominates them. You know, when Tulsidas ji wrote this book and the manuscript was ready, the only people who were against it were the Brahmin scholars who didn't want him to write. They said such scriptural knowledge should be in the divine language, Sanskritam only. It cannot be in popular common man's language. They wanted this book destroyed. They tried stealing this manuscript. Will you believe it? So we see signs of educated fools there. That knowledge gives you so much pride. And that is not at all knowledge. But usually you find knowledgeable people are quite proud. But the one who has true wisdom is usually very humble. So here, very, very important point pointed out here. If you have that pride, you become jealous. Somebody is going to get popular by explaining these things. And they go around saying, these things are not so simple to understand. If he is making it simple, he doesn't know himself. In fact, if you see, an expert in his field will be able to tell you about the subject matter in simplest of terms. If he cannot simplify it for you, he is probably not an expert. So we must be able to understand and be able to explain it in the simplest of terms, which is what Bhagwan Samarth has done, Ramdas Swami has done in this book. And probably by the kind of feedback and response he was already getting for his talks, he realized that this also could happen and was probably already happening. So he says, such a man, inwardly rotten, becomes violent with passion and wrath, which is quite evident in actual life, he says. You can see it in actual life, he says. No? So people do get insecure and angry. How can a man who is overpowered by passion and wrath be called a good man? Rahu was an evil demon. Though he drank nectar in the company of gods, so an evil person does not benefit himself even if he gets the best things in the world. So that's what he has mentioned here. What do you say about this? Abhimane uthe matsar ye tiraskar, pude krodhatsa vikar, prabhale bhale. So this is one thing that we should not, he says. Now enough of this talk. You may accept from this book that advice which you are capable to receive. But the best thing to do is drop all pride. This is very important wherever Gyan is given. No? For a person who calls himself a devotee, in devotion there comes surrender, there doesn't come pride. But in the Jnana Marga, one has to be watchful of pride. That is why even Bhagavan Shankara tells, in the Sadhana Panchakam, he says, you take care that garva parityajya, do that whenever it arises. Oh, these people don't know, I know. Huh? When some understanding comes and you think you are smarter than the other, holier than the other, watch yourself, pay attention. So he says, the best thing is drop all pride. This is all explained in short in reply to the question by the listeners as to what is contained in this book. Okay. Now, if we read from the 28th to the 38th verse, which will be the concluding verses of this first topic, it deals with the Falashruti. Okay. So, what is Falashruti? Upon reading this book, what is the benefit for? One way to look at it is this should be the benefit. I should. And another way is, as I proceed with this book and put into practice and read and understand, this is where I have to get to. Okay, so this is the goal. आता श्रवण केलियाचे फळ क्रिया पालटे तत्काळ तुटे संशयाचे मूळ एक असावा मार्ग सापडे सुगम न लगे साधन दुर्गम सायोज्य मुक्तीचे वर्म ठाई पडे नासे अज्ञान दुःख भ्रांती शीघ्रची येते ज्ञान प्राप्ती ऐसी आहे फळश्रुती ये ग्रंथ योगियांचे परम भाग्य अंगी बाणे तै वैराग्य चातुर्य कळे यथा योग्य विवेक सहित भ्रांत अवगुणी अवलक्षण तेची होती सुलक्षण धूर्त तार्किक विचक्षण समयो जाणती आळसी तेची साक्षपी होती पापी तेची प्रस्तावती निंदक तेची वंदू लागती भक्ती मार्गासी भद्दची होती मुमुक्ष मूर्ख होती अतिदक्ष अभक्तीची पावती मोक्ष भक्ती मार्ग नाना दोष ते नासती पतिततेची पावन होती प्राणी पावे उत्तम गती श्रवण मात्र नाना धोके देह बुद्धीचे नाना कित संदेहाचे नाना उद्वेग संसाराचे नासती श्रवणे ऐसी याची फळश्रुती श्रवणे चुके अधोगती मनास होई विश्रांती समाधान जयाचा भावार्थ जैसा तयास लाभ तैसा मत्सर धरी जो पुंसा तयास तेची प्राप्त इति श्री दासबोधे गुरु शिष्य संवादे ग्रंथारंभ आरंभ लक्षणा समासपहि. So what is said here about the Falashruti? About the benefits one gets out of listening to this book, the 28th book. No? The first benefit is that there is immediate transformation in the behavior of the listener, and the roots of doubt are totally snapped. Wonderful, isn't it? There is no need to undergo hard penance because you get to know the easy way to realize the essence of total freedom. The result of listening to this book is that ignorance, sorrow, and illusion are destroyed and wisdom is attained quickly. Desirelessness, Vairagya as we call, which is the greatest good fortune of yogis, is inculcated in our very life, and wisdom with discrimination is easily understood. Those who are illusion, who are having bad qualities, bad attitude, become endowed with virtue. Those who have acute discernment and are logical in thinking come to understand the properties of timely behavior. Now we shall just understand a few things here. One thing we must give in for any work, any composition for that matter, the time and period when it was done, isn't it? As in, this was written 500 years ago. So there may be certain examples which would have mattered then or would have been very, very visible then. Okay? We shall come to it a little later when studying a little further in advance. But now what is he saying? The first benefit is that immediate transformation, the behavior of listener, and the roots of doubt are totally snapped. So as we keep reading, he says, we will see this transformation within. This transformation will happen. The effort that we need to do is not any hard penance. When we have heard it so completely, so genuinely, then we understand that we need to change. And we bring about that change because that is the truth we have heard, right? That should be immediate. We must not allow for any gap. Usually we do this, no? I did a blood test and doctor has told BP high hai, or what, diabetes hai, or something, thyroid hai. So no sugar, no salt. Huh? And then I say, I know I have not to take that sugar, but I'm compelled because I like sweet things. I like sugar in my coffee. I cannot give up. So I know, but I'm not able to give up, isn't it? There is a gap, right? We must try and minimize this gap. That is the struggle. That is the effort. Okay? So we cannot say, I know this is good, but I'm compelled. No, I cannot be compelled. This is a habit. So I have created a habit by constantly practicing something. I can practice the opposite. So I must work on these conditioning so that I am not limited, I'm not restricted by my own thinking. Right? So the lesser the gap in my listening to the truth and me becoming that gap should be lessened. Okay? So he says there is no need for hard penance, but this itself can become a penance for most of us. But that's worthwhile, worth doing. And this is the easiest way to realize the essence of total freedom. Also, he says, ignorance, sorrow, and illusion go away. This is brilliant if this has to happen because this is total liberation. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of who I am. Today, I don't know who I am, but I'm doing a lot of things. I'm trying to know a lot of things. By doing something, I'm trying to become something. I do this so that I become this good person. I do this so that I become known as this person. Rather, we should know who we are first. Upon knowing that, we must act responsibly. Isn't it? That should be the way. So that's why in this culture, in our Bharata culture, we were all seeking this knowledge, or rather, this is what was told to us. Yes, we all have to contribute in the society, be part of the society. So you become a soldier, a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, an accountant, whatever it is that you need to do, according to your gunas, according to your inclinations. Please go ahead and do all that. But where do you come from? Moola is, I come from here. That knowledge must be there with us. We must seek to know that and act from there. And desirelessness, this vairagyam from the world. Fantastic quality. How does this come? It has to come with understanding, not forced upon us, not thrust upon us. Book has told you not to do this means not to do this. No, seek this knowledge. Understand why sorrow comes. You are seeking something permanent from impermanent things. And things of the world are impermanent. Therefore, do not get attached to those things because that will give you sorrow. Simple logic which cannot be refuted. You see, this is the truth it contains. Just believing in this and acting upon it will free us from all our sorrows. And even we will no longer be disillusioned. Who is disillusioned? One who has created this illusion for himself, isn't it? And that bubble breaks and he says, I am so disillusioned. I thought this, I thought that. You were thinking all this. Who asked you to not have correct thinking? You should have corrected your thinking from time to time. So not allowed. Vedanta Vichar is right thinking. And right thinking according to whom? According to the one who has come. with that kind of thinking, understanding to realize the truth. And he speaks. Then we follow his word, not just anybody. Right? And those who are illusioned, who are having bad qualities, bad attitude. What is bad qualities, bad attitude? Huh? Anyone who's going away from this path can be considered bad. Bad, why? He is going to have suffering. No, that is who is immoral and disillusioned. Because he doesn't know Ajnani him. He doesn't know this. He doesn't know there is a better perspective, that there is a better way to live. So he must seek this knowledge. So such a person, when he reads and learns, studies this, he becomes endowed with virtue. What is this virtue? Aha, that buddhi comes to him. I have missed something in life. Now I am going to proceed this way. Those who have, he says, you may have discernment, you may have this viveka buddhi. It will only be fine-tuned. And also you will understand the properties of timely behavior. This is very important. A realized master somehow seems to do things at the right time, right things at the right time. He says the right things at the right time. How many of us are able to do that? The right opportunity presents itself, but we hold ourselves back. I was not sure whether I should do it or not do it. I was not sure whether I should say it now or not say it. I have the buddhi. I know what is to be said. Right? So see, even this is being spoken. Those who are idle become earnest. I'll see. Those who are will start working. The sinners repent and critics start praising the path of devotion. So if we do not realize the path that it is going to lead, you may come to realize this. He says, those who are in bondage become aspirants for freedom. You recognize that you are in bondage. First of all, that's a very big, important step. Most of us don't know what we are bound with. Fools become very alert, and those who are not devotees actually follow the path of devotion and attain liberation. Many vices are destroyed. The downtrodden become pure, and by listening, man advances towards the highest state. By listening deeply to the contents of this book, many dangers involved in the attachment to the physical body, and many misgivings and sufferings of the worldly life are destroyed. There are many dangers involved in attachment to the physical body. Every word is so filled with suggestions, If you just take it even word by word, dangers involved in attachment with physical body, what all they could be, just list down for yourself. You will come to see. Wow, no, really, this is not required. No, not required. Really not required. Be free of it. Many misgivings and sufferings of the worldly life are destroyed. This is wonderful if this can be achieved. Such is the benefit. By listening, one is saved from downfall and his mind becomes content and peaceful. Who is not seeking contentment and peace? One thing is important, says, one gets the fruits according to one's faith. Those who harbor only jealousy in their mind are sure to get the same. जया से भावार्थ जैसा तयास लाभ तैसा मत्सर धरी जो पुंसा तयास तेची प्राप्त. Bhagwan Kabir, he also says, Santa Kabira says, no, Guru ki karni guru jayega, chele ki karni chela, ud jayega hans apela. Which means what? Whatever we have to receive from this book, let us be honest, as Swami Dayanandji always used to say, two qualities are required by the seeker. One is honesty and one is courage. So when we start reading these books, we have to have the honesty to admit our faults and the courage to admit it and make the changes. The amount of transformation we see in ourselves is directly proportional to our understanding and our shraddha in it. This is what he wants to say. Like I say, no, it's a mirror which reflects what is in us. So if in a mirror you see a pimple, you see your face in the mirror and you say, oh, there is a pimple. So we buy a pimple cream and we apply it. Do we apply it to the mirror or do we apply it on ourselves? Right? So the scar is here. So we have to keep applying and keep watching the mirror. Are nahi gaya. Then the ad said 7 din baad, clear. So then you keep applying and you watch yourself, and one day the mirror shows you the face without the pimple. But what have you been doing? Watching the mirror, making the changes here. Watching the mirror, doing something here. So Vedanta scriptures, Dasbodh is something like this. That will keep showing you where you are. And you need the courage to transform yourself. So this can become your sathi for life. And our readiness and alertness. This book is not to say that, yes, I'm going to share this with my in-laws, with my husband needs it. This book is for my wife. She has to read it. Usually, students do come to class, and they say, my God, what you say makes so much sense. I have to share this with my wife. I said, no, please don't go and share Vedanta Gyan. It has come to you for you. If the husband and wife and the mother-in-law and sister-in-law have to come, let them come. And they will take what they can, because each one of us will receive only what we are supposed to receive. Even our Acharya and the ashram would say, because after the class, we had a question and answer session with him. And when one of the students would say, Acharya, you said this in class today. And he will say, did I say that? When did I say that? And then he'll say, oh, 30 students in front of me. Each 30 of y'all will pick up something from what I have said. And I think I have said something. But when y'all come back saying y'all have understood this of what I have said, I wonder, oh, that could also be an interpretation this way. So you see, Guru ki karni, Guru jayega chhele ki. Do not compare yourself with anybody. What the book says, how much of it applies to me, what kind of changes I need, what is it that I'm looking for? Because each one of us have very unique experiences, and the narrative that runs in our mind is uniquely ours. I may love my husband so much, I cannot think of life without him. But when I go to sleep in the night and I have a dream, that dream is so uniquely mine. I go with the family, husband, wife, children, to watch a movie. We are all in the same household, same economic background, same religious background, same social background. We go and watch a movie, and after the movie is over, our own experience of what we saw the movie and what we liked and disliked about the movie is so uniquely ours, isn't it? So this is what happens when we read the scriptures. We must read, apply, and transform. So with this, we finish just the first topic of the first Dashaka. And from the next class, we will be looking at, as I said, the second Dashaka. All the 10 topics we'll try and cover. So it throws light upon, and maybe we understand better. signs of fools, signs of right understanding, wrong knowledge, everything is told to us. So when we are very often, we find ourselves, especially India, this is also there, one very convenient thing. Words from scriptures are very commonly used and very casually used also, So according to our convenience, my aunt, I have an aunt, who says, "Arey, यहाँ पे philosophy देखो," मतलब, just pick up a sentence from any of this and झाड़ो. करते हैं ना हम लोग. Convenience के लिए we use up a lot of these philosophical quotes. We shouldn't do it. We shouldn't do it. Be very careful with these words, with any of your words for that matter. And especially so with scriptural words. For these are, as even Swami Samartha says, divine words, isn't it? God's teachings. So let's not use it casually without understanding. Telling people, "Arey yaar, all this is Maya." Do we know what Maya is? हाँ, बहुत बार बोलते हैं, ये सब तो माया है, इसको छोड़ देना. क्या छोड़ोगे? माया क्या है? किसको छोड़ना है ना? सबकी अपनी अपनी कर्म है. What have you understood about karma? If you are truly understood, are you going to conduct yourself the way you are conducting yourself all the time? आजकल तो ये भी हो गया है. You suggest something to somebody or you have a piece of advice for them. They will say, "अरे तुम्हारा वेदांत ज्ञान मुझे मत दो." It has become something like this, that unwanted advice be Vedanta, it is called. Huh? So let us be very careful. We don't engage in this kind of a casual conversation, especially, जो होता है सब कुछ अच्छे के लिए होता है. जो अभी क्या अच्छे के लिए हुआ? मेरे साथ कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं हुआ. Huh? If somebody is suffering, you don't go and tell him all this. Somebody is in the hospital bed पे पड़ा है, बीमार है, उसको जाके, "You are not this body, don't worry." If he has the strength, he will slap you. I'm telling you. Huh? So you right sense. Where are you using this kind of words? Deha buddhi, you need to get out of it, but are we there? Are we really practicing that? And you don't go and tell a man who's suffering because of his deha, you are not the deha. If he was interested in that subject matter, he would have asked you before. तो किसको देना है ये ज्ञान? That also should be very clear. This viveka buddhi is also required. So a little bit of all of that we will see in the second chapter. ठीक है ना? Any feedback, any sharing, anything you all would like to speak of? I just kept talking all the time. I didn't allow you all any chance to speak. And I don't know if you all were able to keep up with the screen sharing that we did. Because I want you all to have the lines with you all, so you can follow. I'm not even sure whether I went too fast. So you'll do let me know.
Hari Om Acharya, can you hear me?
Yes, Samir. Haan.
So I just wanted to understand this term. What is Sayujya Mukti? Because this is even in Sai Satcharitra. So there are those three types of Mukti. So
yes, Moksha, no? Mukti.
Yeah, Sayujya.
Sayujya. Salokya, Sarupya, Sayujya. There are three types, depending on the inclination, the desire of the seeker in devotion. You will see that if you take, for example, Uddhava, he was in so much adoration and love of Krishna. The way he dressed, the way he walked, the way he spoke, he was imitating Krishna. And people would often say that when they saw Uddhava, they would think, Are Krishna, for a moment. You know? So Sarupya, he wanted that. He wanted to become one so much that even physically, this is seen between Guru and Shishya very often. The Shishya begins to resemble, and others will tease them, kya Guru jaisa ban rahe ho. Chinmayanand ji ke bhi jo Shishya the, they started growing that beard like him. वो adoration वो होता है when you surrender to the Guru or God. So Sayujya is what? Being with the deity. Like you take a Santa Tukana. That is why he is supposed to have. With the Deha, he went to Vaikuntha Loka. He wants to be where his Ishta Deva is. So you have these. When you are so devoted and in love, no, you want that Dvaitam. You don't want Advaita. You don't want to be different from. You don't. In that oneness, what happens? We have heard, isn't it? That there is no space for two. Either God is there or I am there. Where I am, God is not there, and where God is, then I am not there. They don't want that sthiti. They have recognized that. They have realized that, but they want to come down. And they say, no, I want to always be in this, because being in this duality is so much fun. I can be devoted to you. I can sing your stuti. I can cry if I'm separated from you. They enjoy that. That is the devotion to their work. So they say, I want to look like you. I want to be in the same loka. Wherever you are, I am. So Santa Tukaram says, wherever you are, I will be singing your stuti. Whenever you go down, you descend to loka, Manushya loka, I will be there singing stuti. I want that. So this is the mukti. So mukti, they are mukta from the deha, they are mukta, they are free from samsara, they are free. The mind is not going to bind them, but they will still be in duality. Are you understanding that? Whereas if you say Ramana or a Nisarga, no personal identity at all. They have merged. Now it is that consciousness speaking through them. They have no role at all. Meera merged totally. She becoming one with Krishna, you say, no? So there is no more identity left. You have no identity. That is the monastic. That is the oneness. The truth is that. But then the devotees want this. And this is beautiful also. Very beautiful.
This
So Bhagavan
is
says God
the
realization is
Vishishta
possible.
Advaita.
Sorry?
This is the Vishishta Advaita also. No?
वो थोड़ा स्कॉलरली वो डिफरेंसेस आ जाता है उसमें. Yeah, but definitely you can say this is they say that, but they say that moksha is possible only through God's grace if God wishes. That is not the Advaitic thought. That is the difference.
Mm.
That's all.
Mm.
Meera too. I mean, she was so devoted, so single-pointed, right? And Krishna manifested 5,000 years ago, Meera 500 years ago. So for her, Krishna was still an imagination. But how single-pointed she became, that focus, that concentration, dhyana, dharana is all that. She merged in that idea itself. Through that bhakti, she received that jnana that she and Krishna were no different, completely merged in Krishna consciousness. And this is possible as what Swami Samarth has said. In this lifetime, for all of us, let us not think, because these ideas do come. Are yaar, I'm a puppy, or forget, I may not have sinned, but I have not done any good karma. I don't pray, I don't do anything. But ठीक है, do you have this quest in you? With earnestness, if you begin to seek this, you will find it. And that's what masters say. If you are not finding it, you're not seeking that. I would say, like he says, illusion, sorrow, delusion goes away. Let us at least get that clarity. We are born in this human body and there is so much potential. There is no room for misery or disillusionment. And yet, if we are suffering, then we must correct ourselves immediately. Why should we suffer? Buddha says that there is suffering, there is a cause for suffering, and that the suffering can be ended. So, shouldn't we be looking at immediately ending that suffering? Natural, no? And if it requires a change in the way we are looking at things, then that's all. The perspective, let us change that. We are so, some of us are so bound and so conditioned to living that life of suffering and misery. If we don't have it for a couple of days, we will miss it. We are so proud of it. अरे आपको नहीं पता मैंने कितना दुख देखा है दुनिया में बाबा 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 जैसे कि एक बड़ा फेदर एक और मेडल जीता मैंने आपका तो कुछ नहीं मेरा ऐसा हुआ 20 साल पहले वैसा हुआ 30 साल पहले वैसा हुआ अज्ञानी do not encourage for these kind of thoughts also within yourself. You must, that is why you must be ready, waiting to be free of all this. And there is this life possible without all of these patterned thinking. Free of all this. Life can be so beautiful then. Let us not take our narratives very seriously. All the way we look at life, is coming from the past because it is in the mind. We are thinking about it. And the truth is actually what is happening, which we are missing. Any more questions? Nice to see so many of you with your videos on. तो कभी-कभी लगता है ना screen and that you all are awake. Some of them have put off the videos. We don't know what is the real state behind. एक तो बेड पे भी होंगे और वीडियोस ऑफ है सुनते सुनते कहाँ म्यूटेड भी है तो साउंड स्लीप हो रहा है कि नहीं पता नहीं sound is that sleep, no? People sleep with lot of sound, no? That I'm talking about, huh? Any more questions? Anything? So, shall we conclude for today? We can meet up next Friday, the second chapter. ठीक है? हरि ओम.
हरि ओम.
नमः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. हरि ओम. Any more questions? Anything? So, shall we conclude for today? We can meet up next Friday, the second chapter. ठीक है? हरि ओम.
हरि ओम.
नमः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. हरि ओम.